Erin Real is joining me on the Scott Sand Show. Erin, it's finally here. The text messages may finally stop. The robocalls may finally stop.
Yeah.
And the ads may finally stop.
Theoretically.
Yeah. So
Theoretically.
that's the hope. I don't think we're going to know who wins the presidential race tonight. Do you?
I don't. Listen, when the day got started, I was like, I think we might. I think it's possible. And I think it still is possible. I do. I don't think it's like it could not happen. But at the same time, I think we just got to go in real slow, take it nice and easy. We wind up where we wind up. It's all going to be okay. Democracy, I believe, will reign supreme no matter what happens tonight or in the days to come.
It could be a surprising landslide. If we do think that the electoral map is shaping up tonight, I think it could be a landslide for either candidate, either way, if the results are that determinative. So what should we expect tonight? We really won't begin to get a clear picture of things until after Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin polls close.
Yeah. So listen, we just have to. Anyone who says this is going to happen, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're wrong. And I'm not going to say it now. We don't know how this will shape up, but we will stand by and we will calmly and soberly and with dignity report what happens. But what we do know are the important days in the next 76 days. So why are these 76 days ahead of us important? It's election day to inauguration day, and there's 76 days in between, and it's the transfer of power from President Biden to his successor. Within those 76 days, there are three very important ones: December 11, December 17, and the now infamous January 6th. So let's start with December 11th. This is the new national deadline for the governors to certify the results of the presidential election, and then they submit their slate of electors, who those people will be. Expect legal stuff, legal fare, which is like the new term. And I'm like, it just came out of nowhere this year, and everyone's using it. It's being overused, so I'm trying to avoid it. But expect like litigious stuff to happen.
There will be a lot of billable hours in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, great way of putting it. Billable hours on the horizon, particularly ahead of December 11th. But there are actually new procedures in place in order to expedite any challenges, because there will be some. But then after that, we have December 17th. This is a big one. This is when those electors, and by the way, there's the same amount of electors as there are representatives. Electors will cast a ballot in state capitals. They are formally going to vote for the president. As we all know, we have an electoral college, not a popular vote. This is who will win the election. It's a winner-take-all system. So it either goes red or blue, and then you count the reds and you count the blues, and that's who wins the election. This is a big day, and officials in swing states are already prepping for potential unrest, some disruptions, all of that. So December 17th, let's not make it the new January 6th.
No, let's be calm, people. I'm actually today, when I went to go vote early this morning, I'm wearing an electoral college sweatshirt because I just want both teams to have fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There you go. There you go. Let's have a little joy today. Let's bring a little joy into it.
All right. So December 11th, December 17th, those are the two electoral dates to watch. Those are very important. And then January 6th, and we know what happened 4 years ago.
Indeed. So that's when members of the 119th Congress, actually just 3 days after they're all sworn in, they will count the Electoral College ballots. They'll do this under new, updated, modern Electoral Count Act that was updated in 2022. It was designed to ward off another insurrection. So what does that mean? It means that objections are absolutely still possible, but they're a little bit harder. And it also means that the vice president is now purely ornamental. They're only to announce the results as president of the Senate. That's it. Can do nothing. Just go up there and say the thing and then get off.
It's a ceremonial duty. They have no power whatsoever. It's simply announcing results, which is what I do, what you do, Erin. It's simply reading numbers. That's all it is. That's the only power the vice president as president of the Senate has on January 6th.
Right. That's it. That's it. Like, they don't even need to synthesize the numbers. They don't need to opine on them. They just need to read them. That's it.
Now, there could be objections, but traditionally they've been squashed by the president of the Senate, so which we have seen in several of the last elections.
Yes. And listen, I think like the December 17th, that's the one I'm really looking out for, because that's when you have the electorates cast their ballot. And like, I remember the last go round, there was like an SNL episode where they were saying they were trying to appeal to electorates to not. I guess it's like the good faith
Right.
or the false electorate where they want them to vote a different way. And I was like, whoa, this is nuts. Like we didn't even know how the system really worked, and now you're seeing it on stuff like that, and that's not cool either. But it's like
right.
this is the system
But
we
you
have.
could,
This is how it goes.
and it's sad that we have to learn civics from Saturday Night Live.
Right? Yeah, that's actually probably like you know what? Yes, you're 100% correct. And at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. Does it mean is this a good thing? Does it mean we care more? I don't know. It's I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough time. But again, we're gonna go in nice and slow. We're gonna take it easy. We'll see how this whole thing shakes out.
We're talking to national correspondent Erin Real here on the Scott Sancho. Find her on X, the Erin Real. We'll have live coverage beginning at 6 p.m. tonight here on iHeartRadio, everywhere on WSPD. Find us until the last vote is counted, and I feel sorry for those of you who will be there in the studio until that last vote is counted. Erin, I know you've been following the economy closely, one of the more important issues during this election, and something that affects all of our lives. And recently you've been covering the housing market, where I just saw a story today. I think that the average age of a new home buyer has increased to 56 years old. Looking at the stock market today, I'm not expecting a lot of action on the markets today on an election day. Tomorrow could be very volatile, but the markets are essentially green today. How are they reacting to the electoral process?
So actually the market's all in the green so far today. They ended yesterday in the red. The Dow, it was down actually 250 points. S&P and NASDAQ, they were both down about 1/3%. But what's so interesting is that if you look at the data on the markets going back to actually 1980, they suggest that the markets actually gain between election day and New Year's, but then they typically fall in the session the week after the vote. Now, this is just historic what has happened. We also, oh, by the way, have a Fed meeting tomorrow and the next day. Yeah. So but if anyone wants to get excited about that, likely a 1/4 percentage point in terms of a rate decrease, that might be great, but don't expect your 30-year fixed mortgage to have a much better rate anytime soon. But there is a lot going on this week. But in terms of the market's perception of this, if you look at it right now, this is also interesting too. The prediction markets, like basically the betting on the election, which by the way used to be illegal.
Right.
Now they're like, sure, whatever. Just do it. Yeah, like it's cool.
I'll take the over under. Sure.
It's like, okay, that was a sharp turn, but I guess we're doing this now. But poly markets, this is interesting. The odds on the presidential winner, they had a big swing towards Harris before election day. Now that doesn't mean it's not a poll. It's a swing. Like they're markets, predictive markets, which means like, let's say you bought a contract at 40, you can sell it at 50 and you want to get rid of it. Even if it's going to go to 60, you think that's the size again. So like they actually could be more indicative of just like what the market wants to do in terms of the prices and the money that can be made in the margins. So that could be it too, but it's an interesting one. Yet at the same time, Trump's stock, which is so linked to his personal and perceived wins and losses and not his company that it trades for, that being Truth Social and the media company which he owns and operates, which the financials frankly stink for, are not very good, but it is trading up already 12%. Is that indicative that the markets think he's going to be president? We're going to have to wait and see. So there's a lot going on across the board. Again, take a deep breath. We take it real easy. Right. Just keep our head up, plug along.
I love following Polymarket and Kalshi. I've actually dabbled a few bets in there, and I like to dabble in futures trading. So that may be active while I'm watching election results tonight as well, especially with the Fed meeting tomorrow. Trump Media has been a fascinating stock to watch, even before it became a publicly traded company, when it was still just a SPAC. I mean, just so much volatility. After that Trump Media Group announcement. I mean, we've seen this stock trade as high as, I think, $75, $80 a share since going public, and as low as $20, $25. Right now it's in that $38, $39 range. But I think if he wins, it's going to be another one of those rocket ships for a couple of days, and then everybody will take profit from it as well.
Indeed, yeah, I agree with you completely. And again, it's a meme stock. It performs like a meme stock.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It has absolutely no tie to fundamentals, and that's fine. Plenty of people have made plenty of money on meme stocks. But if you're like, what? It's not following what yeah, it's not.
I mean, it's
It
like playing
doesn't.
GameStop and AMC and some of those other meme stocks a few years ago.
Right, exactly. That's just it. And again, but it's funny because in the sense that it is tied to his like life wins and losing,
Right.
very much as opposed to like just the sentiment of the market. It's interesting.
If you think Trump is going to lose the presidential election, you might want to short the Trump media stock.
Yeah, there you go.
Not that I'm making financial recommendations. I'm just a disc jockey. Take my advice for what it's worth.
Let's always throw that disclaimer up there. Yep.
Erin Real, find her on X at the Erin Real. Enjoy all of the cold pizza in the newsroom tonight. It could be a late night.
Thanks, Scott. You too. Have a good one.
We'll have live coverage beginning at 6 right here on News Radio 1370, 92.9 FM, and everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.